In spirituality, symbolism is very powerful. The cross is a powerful symbol for the Christians. The Om is a powerful symbol for the Hindus. Symbolism is the only way we can relate to something abstract. And so to me, this beautiful lingam which I hold symbolizes the be all and end all of everything. Not only our practice, but where creation begins, where creation ends. And so Shiva, the consciousness of Shiva is that powerful energy. My Guru Sai Baba said he's Shiva. All avatars owe their origin, all gurus owe their origin to Shiva. You and I are aspects of the Shiva consciousness, Shivamsha as we call it. The more we realize it, the more energy we feel. And with this Ganges flowing so just right next to me, you see this, it's amazing. And to do puja or lose yourself in that contemplation of the divine, it's an experience by itself. I think words fail me. So I'm going to now, and hopefully everywhere I go, I'll have the strength and the energy to do Abhisheka to the Linga. Abhisheka is where you ceremoniously offer to Shiva from the waters of the Ganges herself. What great joy can that be? So, with that prayer in mind, I spend some time losing myself in chanting of the Rudra Abhishekam and perform the Rudra Abhishekam to my chosen deity, Shiva. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyava Utot Aishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyam Utate Namaha. Ya Taishu Shivatama Shivam Bhabuvate Danuhu. Shivasha Ravya Tavatayano Rudramridaya.
Swami Shivananda, one of the greatest yogis of modern times, began his mission of spreading yoga and spirituality from an ashram that he set up here in Rishikesh, the Divine Life Society.
Swami Shivananda, his family, he's a distant relation through marriage to my grandparents, grandmother to be more precise. And his influence has always been on our family, on my childhood. Growing up, it was always something to do with Shivananda. We had Swami Sachidananda who visited us, my grandmother's place, when they came out to spread the Divine Life Society, the mission of Shivananda. Then we had Swami Chinmayananda, who was the disciple of Shivananda. So coming back to this place is beautiful. Someday I'd like to spend some time here. Maybe a few weeks. In this quiet ambience of an atmosphere. As you climb up the hill, you get cut off from these sounds of traffic and so on, and then we enter this beautiful complex. Begin to experience the silence. Beautiful tree. Must have witnessed so many yogis, his disciples. Pay my tribute and homage to this wonderful master. These masters were the trailblazers, in reviving yoga back to a spiritual glory. What we are doing now, none of us can take the credit. At least I can't, and I don't want to. I owe it to them and their inspiration. So without them, without their teachings, I don't know what it would have been. But I guess that's how yoga has survived over the generations, over thousands of years. Always been teachers who will not compromise on its values and what yoga truly stood for, for self-realization, for
Atma Sakshatkar, as they call it, or the ultimate vision of the self, the realization of the self. And so it will be. It will continue. Yoga will never die. The true spiritual, in-depth yoga is not going anywhere. It's safeguarded within these walls of these ancient ashrams, where people give up everything to practice and teach it. No compromises of any kind. Yoga has come to stay.